Okay, hey, just think I'm very a little late, but just getting stuff prepped. I'm gonna have to shoot this again so I can finally get the daggum impacts. So I will get the video camera and ensure that both batteries are completely charged. I had them both charged, but the one I guess I just didn't see that it was flashing dead. It's a new camera, so getting used to it still. Anyway, I've got everything sorted out here. These are the ones that really perform well today. These are the pyrodex hybrids, and they use a hybrid base, which I have to grab. So this is in these right here. This is basically what's inside. It's just a base. It's 209 setup. It has this close nipple with a nut, and in the bottom, yeah, let me get it out of here. There we go. These, when you put them in, they force in, so everything is a very tight fit on purpose. So you can see that this is just clean inside, and it's fairly thick at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, see, you can see my finger in there. So it's fairly thick at the bottom to accommodate for the height of the primers. These are the 209 primers. I use a magnet out here to kind of hold them. These are the Remington STS. These are the ones you want. These are awesome. Surefire, they're good primers. You can see what they look like. Kind of a brass coated steel. These are steel. A lot of people say, oh, they're copper, but no, they're steel. They wouldn't stick to a magnet if they weren't steel. Anyway, so this is the base for these. You JB weld the outside. You wrap up the casing on the inside, and it slides over. Same thing, JB weld on the outside of this. Take this off. You hammer this down after you put a flat washer in there. You put a fender washer, 3/16 inch fender washer by 1/4. I don't have them laying out here, but you can see them in here. They're kind of coated with, but there's a washer down in there. That's to protect the bottom of this 3D printed item here, so to make it last longer, because you can see it's 3D printed. These are solid. They're 100% infill, so they're really strong. And I'm working on a short one so we can have the much shorter shells like these. This is a different one. Anyway, you get the point. So that's what the hybrid kit that I'm offering, that's what it is. It's this, the washer plus the close nipple, and this. You buy your own brass, you cut your own brass. You can get the 17 gauge brass here, 1.5 inch, 17 gauge brass raw tail piece. You can get, this is the testerite aluminum, 1.5 inch, comes in black. It's testrite.com, testrite.com. You can go there and order a couple of them and make them. These are really great. They're super strong and they cut nicer, and they work really well. Same thing, JB weld. Slide that sucker over, wipe off your excess with a damp, you always have a damp paper towel. JB weld actually dissolves in water, so once you do that, let it cure for 24 hours, then your shell is ready to go. These have a brass lock nut, and you can opt for that if you want to find one. It's just a 1/2 nominal pipe thread NPT, 1/2 NPT lock washer, or lock nut rather, and it's brass, and that is a nicer finish, but they're also about $1.20 to $1.80 a piece. So in order to keep the cost down, I went with these conduit. They're a little loose, but it doesn't matter, because once you pound this down in there and you have JB weld on everything and you tighten it down, the JB weld holds it in place. It still protects the base pretty good. It's not as good as this one, but it's still good anyway. But that keeps the cost on these down. Otherwise, I had to add another couple bucks for a lock nut. So these nipples, you would think were cheap. Well, cheap. My bulk price is like $1.50 each. So it's just what it is. To print this out with energy cost and filament at 100%, these, when I run 4 of these, it takes 9 hours for 4 of them. So with my power and everything, that roughly puts my cost right at about 75 cents a piece because of the power bill and the filament, and then you got to add in the maintenance costs on the machines, because my machines are bed slingers that I use for making this kind of stuff. My nice machine I use for the higher end stuff. Okay, so enough of that. These are my bases for the 38. That was the second group that I used that did well. They're a shorter base. It's just an insert. This is the insert. These were training inserts from DefTech. They're made to take the blank, as you can see. They have a 3/16 inch hole, it looks like. I actually haven't measured it. Let's go to caliper and measure it real quick here. Let's see, caliper, where you at? All right, turn that on. We're gonna zero it out. We're gonna go to inch so we can see what, zero it out. All right, we're zeroed. All right, and we're gonna get this down in here as accurately as we can. And 1.825. So if we go one more, that's saying 23rd over 128 fraction. Let's set it on the magnet here. These are steel, obviously. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah. 23rd, 128. We go millimeters. 4.59. 4.5. 4.61. I'd say nominal, probably about 4.6 millimeter wise. Let's go back to inches. If you don't own a caliper, you should. Everybody should. If you reload or you do anything, you need a caliper. Okay, so 0.17918, 179, 0.180. So, quarter inch, eighth of an inch is 0.125, and a quarter inch is 0.250. So it's in between. So I was guessing 3/16. It's probably, obviously, it's 20. What did they say it was? 23 over 128. So 3/16. That's just a hair under 3/16. So 23rd, 128, and you go up. The next distance is 3/16. So I was pretty close eyeball wise. I calibrated eyeball, even though I can't see worth a crap anymore. Yeah, so that's interesting, but at least now you have the measurements. So I'm going to have a bunch of these made up. I'm gonna get a quote for 1,000 of them, and these bases are just printed, and then they basically are slip fit in there. They're really, really tight slip fit. You can put some super glue on them and hammer them down. You just got to have something to set them on to hammer them. So you need something you set there and set this into that's not going to bust it, and hammer it down in there. So that's what all these are, the 38s, and they're real simple. And they were getting 150 yards easy. So what I'm going to do is load up a couple here real quick. So with the primer, these are the so that's a little loose, but it's not falling out. Now, if you want to, you can take a tissue, put under that, and I probably will on this one. So I'm gonna set it aside for right now. Oh, these are the new ones. These will be even cheaper and even better. They have a copper cup that's drilled out in the bottom to hold that pyrodex pellet, and same style base, shorter, so you can get a shorter shell. And with the this is one of the Ingalls Bullets Impact. This is an Impact model. I don't have the kit in it. I just set it out for that, but they fit in there and make a nice looking round. So this is the style you want for this bottom piece on these pushers is designed to slip fit into these casings. So if I push hard enough on this will go down in. these are what they call the loose change series. But yeah, see how that fits down in there? You just push it hard when you're done. Some of them you won't even need any RTV. That's what this is right here is RTV, black adhesive silicone. You don't need a lot of this. A little goes a long ways. Take a little bit, put it on the top of the, right here where it mates with the top of the casing. And smear it on, and it'll stick down once you're ready to load. Once you got everything loaded and ready to go. This is also the copper cup, and these are going to be better. I'm actually going to get some made up that'll fit the pellets exactly. The pellets are like 11.2, 11.3 millimeter wide. These are the 777 pellets. This is how they come. And you can see they have a hole in them. I think this is part of why they, ignite so well and do so well. So with these new copper ones, you can see it here. Let's see if I can adjust the light. Turn on some more light here. There we go. So you can see that. The pellet just drops right down in there. There we go. See how that sits? And then there's enough room. On this one, there's really not much room, so I'd have to probably use a big card on it, but I have these little ones that are just punched out. These are 5/16, and they'll drop in on top. There's the goal there. So when I have these custom cups made, I'm gonna have them made about 5 millimeters longer, and I'll make this base a little higher. Not much, about 3 millimeters higher maybe. And then that'll just cover that. You put a little hot glue on it and you're good to go. It's already primed. That's the whole point, is to get it contained. This pyrodex powder is a replacement for black powder. It's not black powder. It's actually, if I remember correctly, it is a form of smokeless powder, but it's designed to mimic the black powder curve. So if you look into what this is 50/50, 50 cal inlines with 209 primer, 50 grain volume equivalent, 100 preformed pellets, 777 Ogden, sulfur free. And it says it's not black powder, it's a safer substitute. It's for black powder firearms only. Not smokeless powder, but approved to ship DOT and store as such. So it's treated basically like smokeless powder. So I want to say it's sugar derivative. It's actually derived from sugar, if I remember correctly. Also over here I have some white hots, and these are a similar style pellet that is made by IMR. And you can see there IMR's never mix powders, use nitrocellulose based smokeless powder in muzzleloading firearms. So this is not nitrocellulose based. That's the difference. A lot of the smokeless is nitrocellulose based. So these are good. I had good performance today out of this one. It was about 150 yards as well. So very, very excited. Both the 777 and the white hots are good to go. The standard pyrodex pellets are okay. If that's all you can find, get it. So anyway, so let's get on with this. This one's tighter, you can see. So we're gonna prime it, and should be able to push it down with your finger after the first time. But this one's pretty good, so I'm gonna take it, put it down here on the floor. And I have my hammer. I'm gonna take the wooden part of the hammer on the bottom, set it on top of the primer, just give it a push. And I need my right hand though. Let's see there. And you'll feel it go down in there and it'll seat. There it is, it's seated, see? Just pops right down in there. These will last a good while. These printed bases before they tear up. And even when they get loose, like I said, you can take a dab of hot glue and just put it on the hole. Don't put it on the primer itself, put it on the hole, give it like a second to kind of dry a little bit, and then take that primer and just shove it down in there. And you'll get more life out of it that way. So all right, so here we are. This is the steel lined with the nipple. So I'm gonna take my pyrodex pellet, my 777. I'm gonna grab a pellet out of here. Should have just left it out. Let me grab one out, set it out. I'm just gonna do one just on video here, so because everybody's asking, hey, how do I load these? How do I load these? It's pretty simple. So we already primed the casing, 209 primer. Take that pyrodex pellet, right? We're just gonna drop it in there. Okay, so it's in there, right? You can see it down in there. And we're gonna take a couple of these wads from this 5/16 hole punch, I believe is what this one is. I don't know if it says it on it or not. I thought it did. I think it only said it on the package. It's 5/16, though, I'm pretty certain. But that's the size on top. You can go to the craft stores, Hobby Lobby and whatnot, and get those kind of things. So I usually use 3 of these. Why 3? I don't know. I just figure I'm an overachiever, right? But I put 3 in the rest, and they worked really well. So I'm just gonna drop them down in there and get them to go over the pellet in the in there. So see how that kind of shoves down in there. All right. These form fit pretty well. So let me get that one out. Put this one here. Turn it over. We're gonna shove it down. I want that pellet all the way seated in the bottom. And shove it down. In the meantime, we're gonna go over here and turn our glue gun on because we want that to get warmed up so we can top this off with hot glue. So I'm shoving it down. So the idea is to keep this compressed. Charger's not gonna fall out. It's not moving around in there. You can see the paper is over that, right? So it's pushed down all the way. Remember that on this model, the bottom has the washer down there. It's a steel washer. Now over time, steel will rust and all that, so you'll have to rebuild these or you'll have to clean them. And when you clean them, if you use, I wouldn't use water on these. I'd use a damp cloth to wipe it out, and then use, you can use a little foul remover or something like that. Like, or heck, I would just use a little, maybe a little hops number 9 or something on a Q-tip, wipe it all out down there to keep it kind of good to go. But make sure you get the oil away from where you're going to put the primer in, because oil will definitely ruin a primer in a heartbeat. So keep that in mind. All right, so that's ready to go. We're just waiting for our glue gun to heat up, and then we're just going to put a glue cap on top of this. Once you put a glue cap on top of that, you're ready for your pusher to seat it. Okay, and it just seats in there like this. If you want to use the RTV, you can use RTV. You don't have to heat it up. You don't have to worry about it drying too fast. And you just smear a little bit on there and seat it. And I'm not going to do it just yet, but I'm waiting for this hot glue gun. The glue cap seems to make a difference. I've done it with and without, and with the glue cap, I got better performance because I think it just contains the explosion just a tad bit longer than without it. All right, so let's see, we got glue. Is it coming out now? Let's see if we can, we got to go a little bit longer. That's the only bad thing about these little portable ones. They're great, but they take a minute to heat up. They're supposed to be like instant almost, but yeah, they're not instant. So same thing with real quick, we'll kind of go over here to these right here. So I showed you the inserts. I've already popped all these blanks out. They're over here. These are the used blanks. These are the blanks that I was using for those 38. These are actually a 380 rimmed blank. They're out of stock right now. If you can order these, I would order them by the case, so you always have a good stash, because things like this tend to go away and they get hard to get at times. So you always want to have a stash. I don't know about you, but if you have 1,000 38, or 380 rim blanks for your and you're shooting 5 to 10 at a time, and it's going to be a while before you go through all those. But it also gives you a few, so if you get someone new to the hobby and they're waiting, trying to get some blanks and they can't get any, you can sell them a box or two, you know. And when you buy by the case, you get a better deal. I think I paid $26 a box for these, which is not bad. But the ammo place I got them from was like KIR ammo, I believe. And they're out right now, and I'm waiting to get them. And I looked all over the internet, and I haven't found anybody else that had them in stock that had them at a decent price. I think one guy had them for like $60 a box, which is stupid. I'm not paying over $1 a piece for a blank. The other option is you can, that's all impact 37 loaded. I have to put the kits in them. But the other option is you can load your own blanks. And if you are a reloader, this is exactly what you want to do. You're going to want gas checks. These Sages makes these 357 caliber gas checks. You can see the address on them. They're aluminum, and it's like $1,000, and they were really fair. I want to say they were like $16 or $12 or something like that. They were really fair. There's a box of blanks. You have to order the dies. This is from CAC Industry. 40 millimeter lift charge loading die, brass gas checks. So there's gas checks in there that came with it, as well as some brass. They sent this brass with it. So it's like a kit you can buy from CAC. It's not really cheap, but hey, what are you gonna do? So those are my other bases that I have to build shells still for the 38, and I have a few more of those. Those I'm not selling, those are mine, but when I do make these, the duplicates, I will be selling these with the base duplicates, with the originals I'm keeping. Same thing when you buy 40, if you get into 40 millimeter and you buy the old chalk rounds, you pop that brass out, save it. If it's like this roll crimp, you can still star crimp this, so you can get at least another load out of this. If you're a reloader, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then you may want to study up on it before you put your hand at it. I save all, but I even save that stuff because I'll try and straighten it out and use it. But again, these are Washington County guns. They have a big machine gun shoot, and they're pretty famous. Right now, he's got like he's the one that had HEDP rounds for sale for a while. It was pretty cool. I think he still might have some, but you have to have a special occupation or taxpayer FFL in order to buy them. But if you do go up there and visit, I believe he'll let you pay to shoot one if you want to shoot a HEDP if you haven't ever done that before. These are his blanks. They're great. They were expensive. You need a reloading scale of some sort for smokeless powder. These are more brass that I save. And so these are the factory brass and checks, and then this is a factory unused blank for Defense Technologies. So you can see it has the gas check in it right there. So I keep that one separate because I don't want to use it. It's just kind of saving it, really. Set that over there. That's for the scale. So my other rounds I have, they worked pretty good too. These are made from shotgun shells, off the shelf. You cut them, and I was weighing out and reusing the powder that was inside, but I had to get about 15 grains to make them work. They work though. So you can cut the shells, pull down the powder, weigh it out, cut the wads, and save the lead, so you can cast that into something else later, and that's what you end up with those. And they just poke right out. Let's see if I can get it to pop out here. Same thing, you do a glue cap on it. Yeah, I can't get it to pop out. Oh, there it goes. All right, so there's the blank. These are the early shells, and they are metal lined as well. So they work and they hold together. Again, eventually it gets a little loose down here for your blank, and you end up having to put a little hot glue on the edge of this blank. And I actually have some 3D printed blanks that work. But these shells are really easy. You can buy a Walmart 100 pack for like $35. Take them home, cut them, and pull them down, and then make your blanks out of those. and they just go right in, and they seat. You just squeeze them. Let me get something hard to push against there. I just pushed it down, and there you go. A little bug, but it's all right. I'll push it down a little further. But yeah, these go off great. So this is another option. If this is the Milk 2.0, or is it 2.0? Yeah, this is the Milk 2.0. This was my second design. The first design was actually a rimfire design, and it uses the 12 gauge adapter that you use in the tripwires. Tripwire thing's a little 12 gauge 22 ramset blank adapter, and you drill it out and you put it in here, just like you do a 12 gauge, and that will fire it with a rimfire. So there's a couple of options there. These I'll probably offer if people are interested, but I'm going to get the website up and running because eBay, they're a bunch of jerks, so got to deal with their BS. Anyway, that's the reloading aspect. This is a crimp tool here, so you need a lot of specialty tools to do the reloading. If you don't already have them, you're going to invest some money in that. I've been reloading for 40 years, so it's not a big deal. But anyway, since the glue gun's heated up now, let's go ahead and put our glue plug over the cardstock here. And as usual, we're running out of glue because I have the itty bitty glue gun, but that was all they had when I went to go get it. All right, so there's the glue plug. I'm just filling that sucker up. It doesn't really matter how deep, but I like to fill it all the way up and then let it settle. So it'll settle and dry, and that's it, man. That's how easy this is, right? The whole idea was make it really easy off the shelf. You go and you can get these blister packs of the White Hots or the pyrodex pellets, and there they are. Here you can get blister packs of these. They're like, I don't know, 25 of them or something for like $12. So people can walk into Walmart in a lot of rural areas and buy these, and if not, you can get them at like Bass Pro and Cabela's and maybe even local gun shops. And yeah, pretty easy way to reload, and you can put them in a tube and carry them in the field just like you do muzzle loading. And it just so happens most of the muzzle loaders nowadays use 209 primers. So hey, you can get primers, and you can get your powder source for your 37 at the local Stop and Rob. I'm not the Stop and Rob, but anyway, at the local Walmart or Cabela's, or if you're out west, maybe Buy Mart might carry it. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been out there. So it's places for you to check and source out where you can get, Ace Hardware, where I'm at in North Florida, sells these. They're stupid prices though. They're $44 for this, but I ordered it online and I got them for $29, I believe. So order online. You'll save money. Natchez Shooter Supply is where I went to. Brownells is good. All of those are good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the loading on this. I'm not going to, I guess I can put one of these in real quick. So here's this for the 38 blanks. You just take a blank out of the box and you stick it in, and you're going to have to push it down in there all the way. So sometimes seating them, you may need to actually hammer them. You don't really hammer them, but you need to kind of tap on them because these are tight. They're a tight fit. So yeah, see. So on this, I have a wooden dowel. I put it on the floor, and I have to use both hands, so I'm not going to do it. But I'll take the wooden dowel and use the bottom and put it on top, and then I'll just tap it with a hammer. And primers are sensitive, so you kind of have to be careful. But make sure whatever you use on the bottom, I have a 2x4 block that I'll put it on the bottom. Not that it's going to hurt this floor anyway, because this floor is getting ripped out. That's why I just don't care. This house, when we bought it, the people before us had animals and they didn't take care of it. So, we have animals too, but ours, we don't. Our last place and our other place in Florida, we don't let them just do whatever on the floor, you know what I mean? But apparently they did here, but hey, lack of options. So anyway, that's how you do that. You just basically tap these down in there, and then they're ready to go, and then you just seat your round just like the others. pull this out. So we'll pull this out. There's that blank there, crunch blank. 380 rimmed is basically a 38 Smith & Wesson. So these are all test right, both cases. One's a 38 and one's 209 with the pyrodex. So pretty simple. I mean, and these are lighter. They look cleaner. Test right has this black coated aluminum. If you can get the order up over $250, I suggest you do that because you get free shipping, and that'll cut your cost down. Okay. So sorry to bombard everybody today with videos. This is the last one for today, and I think I don't even know what time it is right now, but 30 minutes of rambling. But I hope this is informative for you. These are the pushers for these thin wall casings, and I have long nose cones, and then there's burst units for aerial chalk. Here it is right here. So this one, it's a burst unit. It just screws on the inside of these pushers right here. It'll attach, and then you can basically load this with a burst charge and put chalk in there and have it fused all the way down into the bottom of the casing. So when you ignite it, the casing will ignite through the fuse hole. There's a fuse hole in the bottom of these. The black ones are kind of hard to see, but it's right here. So on this side right there, you can see it from there. You can kind of see it up top there. Yep. Yeah, that's the fuse hole in that. See, the orange one's a little easier. Well, this one's a center fuse. They're both center fuse. So you can see here on the bottom, top, however you want to look at it. It comes off to the side. You want them to come off to the side so they can light properly. So we're in the process of redesigning these two. So look for more interesting stuff. Anyway, y'all take care.